Hi everyone. In today's video, I will show you how you can build an automation with N8N and make a specific use case, which I will show you, and so that you might be able to use it also for yourself. This is basically a work I've been doing for a client for free, just for learning, and I want to show you with you the result because I believe it might help you on get hands-on on this AI agent tool. Anyway, I've been talking in the previous video in as an introduction. Consider to have a look to those before this. By the way, here I will show you exactly how this works. So this is basically a tool which I built, which allow to get some PDF documents about a legal law, but can be anything, can be also basically you can read any documents. And imagine that your company have a chatbot, and you use this chatbot, and you want responses which they consider the document as context and act in a specific role. This is exactly what this workflow does. So get the context from a PDF documents and give informed responses about it. The documents can be legal, or the documents can be any manual, and you can create basically a chatbot for your company. What I've been doing, I did this. The way I did this project is one, using following some guides, documentation. Two, also with the help of ChatGPT. As you know, these workflows are not other than JSON file that you can import from this area here. So you can click to the three dots and then go to import from file. And if you have a workflow already built in JSON, which is correct, you can import it. What I'm using is N8N 1.89, which is the latest version right now, but this might be changed. It's something that changes every day. So first of all, when you ask ChatGPT to create your workflow, make sure to use the search option and to mention the version of N8N that you're using so that it can check correctly documentation and give you a correct one. It might not give you a correct one immediately. There are a lot of iteration you have to do, plus manual work, plus documentation and learning that you have to do to understand how the workflow system works. By the way, what this does, there is a manual with this part above. What does is to take the documents, the PDF documents, and to vectorize the data so that considering that the AI has a specific context token, right? If you want to manage the AI effectively and the document effectively so that it can read and understand the correct context, you need to vectorize, you need to create chunks to subdivide this in different embeddings. And this is exactly what this does. It reads the file, it reads the PDF, it basically create it take the text, it sanify the embeddings. It uses the text in the JSON file. It basically connect with a local LLM with LM Studio, which happen to be text embedding, but can be OpenAI, can be any OpenAI related tool which allow to do this. So basically, there is a manual trigger, then there is read files from a specific version of your PC. It read the file and the field where this file will be located is data, will be called data. The output of this result will be called will be a field called text. the result of the two will be merged here. The data is unified and divided so that it's subdivided by a comma. And then all the embeddings are saved in the DB, which in this case I use Superbase. And within Superbase, Postgres database. So this is something you do separately from the webhook. So this you run at the beginning, and this allows you to save the documents in the database so that can be used in future as context for your future calls. Instead, this part is a webhook. So when you have imagine you have a chat in your website, and when it is called, when the web application calls this URL, so imagine it like an API call. When hit this URL, automatically it will run all the rest, which basically what it will do is to. So what I do initially to test is with a curl string on the command line, I basically write a question like this one. I just write a question where the field is message, and once I run that, this work the webhook run, and then it read the message as a question. It posts that to the local AI model that I'm using with LM Studio with the specific header. Then it's searched in the database for the context, and once it reads the context, it creates a prompt that specify the role of the AI and the response they want to get, and eventually it asks a specific question. It writes automatically under the hood a prompt which allows to read the context and get a response based on the context. So please answer according to the structure, issue, analysis, conclusion. And as you can see, it reads the context in this way, and that's it. Then there is an HTTP request to the AI model. In this case, I use Qwen3 to then formulate the response with this value, and it basically responds with a response in this field, which is called content. This is it. Is a simple workflow. As demonstrated here, I used also ChatGPT to help me to debug errors as they came along. This workflow is inactive, so cannot be retrieved until I put active. And this is gonna be deleted and gonna be cloned, and the URL gonna change for security reasons. But this, for now, was just a means for you to check how I built this workflow. And by the way, in order to trigger a webhook, you need a public URL. As you can see now, this is local URL, it's not a public. And to make the URL public so that it can be used actually by web application live and to run this workflow live, you need to use a tunnel tool like that make the expose to the public the local URL. This tool is Ngrok, and you can basically, you need to run Ngrok this URL to the redirect your local URL to this URL that instead is public. So if you substitute this localhost to the public URL that Ngrok provides you, that URL can be retrieved for a webhook. So whatever you put here can be literally hit by an application and trigger the webhook. So whatever will be posted as an API call to this specific URL will trigger this workflow, and eventually get the question that you probably write when you When you write in a chatbot, when you press enter, it triggers this webhook, and it just searches the context in Superbase and created the prompt and eventually respond. This was a very brief panoramic of how this works. You can use this tool and learn with the documentation, also with a lot of using ChatGPT, for example, especially when I had to modify dataset. The use of set nodes is something that anyway was advised and learned using ChatGPT. I built a couple of workflows at the moment, considering doing more. But I can tell you that when I built my first workflow, which was actually to update YouTube titles, description, and tags, it gave me a very good learning curve. So if you want to learn and become proficient at building workflows, just do it. Use ChatGPT to help you get through it. Use the documentation, and you should be fine. Also, there are courses that are out there, but I believe the best way to learn it is actually doing workflow. Try to solve a problem. I hope this was useful. That's it from today. If you like this video, subscribe, comment, and like the video. Let me know if you want me to explain anything else in detail. And see you in the next video.